Hello, Yellow Room family. Today's episode was brought to you by Anchor. I chose Anchor as my podcast host because it is, in fact, the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives me everything I need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. In fact, this episode was created and edited right from my mobile device. Anchor's creation tools allow me to record and edit my podcast on the go to make it sound great. They even distributed my podcast for me so that it can be heard on all platforms, to include Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. For more information, download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Yellow Room. We have a very special guest today, my new friend Tamika. She is a woman that's on fire. She has so much going on, so many awesome things. And before starting to record today, we were actually having great conversation, and she actually inspired me to step out and do some things that I keep trying to talk myself out of. So I'm excited to see what she will bring forth today, and I hope that you are truly inspired by her message. So we'll go ahead and get started. Tamika, why don't you go ahead and give us a background or overview of all the many great things you have going on.
Awesome. First of all, thank you, Nika, for having me on the Yellow Room today. I'm excited to be here and share with your listeners everything that I have in my head. I am Tamika Chapman, and what I like to start off with saying that as a woman that has endured an 18-year journey of trying to create a family, I have learned a lot of life lessons that I love to share with others. And what it is, they become empowered. And so it empowers me to continue to live my life in the best light that I can so that they can see my journey, not just me telling them, but that they can see it and see how I live, to show them that there is a way that you have to have, keep, and increase your faith while waiting on your blessings. And so with that, today I brought in one of my books for Nika to read of, which is my first book, Faith of One Mustard Seed. And in that book, I share a bit about my journey, of my 18-year journey to motherhood. A little bit about me is that I am from Louisiana. I'm a country girl, so you may hear some loud laughing from time to time. A little country slang. But being raised in Louisiana, and in my family, we are a musical family. And so all we knew was church. We went to church Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so all I knew was about faith and how to have it, and how to get it, and how to keep it. And during my 18-year journey to motherhood, my faith was tested. It was tested and tested and tested every single day. How am I supposed to keep faith and have faith and increase my faith and keep the faith in something that I can't see? And, I'm looking forward to going to heaven one day. But how can I have faith when the one thing that I want so badly and so much, it keeps eluding me? I can't seem to get it. I can't seem to have the one thing that I see that seems to come so easily to other women. And so it's more about my journey of how I was able to turn my pain into now being in my purpose, which is what we're going to discuss today here with Nika in the Yellow Room. So I'm excited, so excited.
Yes, so today's topic is from pain to purpose. For many people, and I too can be honest and transparent, a lot of times when things happen, things go wrong, we have devastating things that are happening in our life. We often sit and ponder on, okay, what is happening to me? And we're not really truly trying to understand the why of what's happening. But in most cases, we find our purpose in our pain. And then when we go through those troubling times, those dark moments, we then are able to give someone else the key to unlock their purpose and be open about their past or hurts or whatever. And it really truly empowers people. It's literally a domino effect. So I'm happy to have Tamika share about things that she's endured and where she's at today. And I do think that it's very important and it's critical once we go through bad times or tough times in our life, it's important for us to have retrospect and truly understand, this bad thing happened to me, but what did I gain from it? What transpired in my life? How am I a better person because of that? And on the topic of retrospect, knowing what you know now, being faithful, when things didn't always go your way, what are some things that you wish you would have told yourself that was enduring those tough times?
Oh, wow.
From what you know now.
Yeah, there's a lot I would have told myself. First, I would have told myself, which I think is the most important thing, is that I'm not God. Mm-hmm. I can't make anything happen. And I have to learn to accept my life for what it is that I'm blessed to have or blessed to do. And that would be the main thing that I would have told myself. You're not God. You can't make anything happen. Right. Now, as I said, I learned a lot along the way. And what I learned was that you have to be still. Mm-hmm. And be still is not just about a physical aspect of being still. It's more of an introspective thing. Right. Mentally and spiritually, you have to be still. You have to know that God is in control, first and foremost. And when you allow your spirit to just stay still and believe in that, have faith in it, everything else seems to work out. Right. And so that's one of my life lessons, of just be still. And I have to explain it to some people, because a lot of people don't understand that concept from the Bible. We use that term so much, just be still, but we don't really know what it means. And it took me a long time to learn it as well, because as a kid, you don't really understand what they're really saying, what the pastor's really preaching, until you get older. Right. So now I'm a woman of age, and I understand what it means to be still and allow God to move in your life, allow God to have control of your life, not thinking that you can control this, you can control that, and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. So that's the main lesson of just be still. First of all, knowing that you're not in control. Second, being still. Third of all, accepting who you are in life. Mm-hmm. Not trying to be something that you're not trying to be someone that you're not. Accept who you are and be the authentic person that you are. Mm-hmm. We all have flaws. We all have things in life that we want. We all have things in life that we want to do. Mm-hmm. And just because it doesn't happen right now does not mean it's not going to happen for you. Right. So just those main three things is just the way that I live my life. Just being authentic, Tameka. That's the only way that I know how to be, especially nowadays.
Amen. I'm so glad that you brought up being authentic. I think that a lot of people get caught up in the social media highlight realm. They see what the next person is doing, and they don't really know what's going on behind closed doors. Like, no one is going to show their, disappointments, their pains on social media. Like, yes. No one's openly saying, I can't pay my bills this month, or I just got laid off from my job. No, you're going to see them living their best life. Everyone lives their best life nowadays, and they're truly living a lie. So could you speak to those people who get caught up in comparing themselves? Because I truly think that when you compare yourself, you're killing your contentment. Like, you're not truly living your best life. Like, you're trying to live someone else's life, and when things don't go according to that other person's life, or you don't see the same things that are happening in their life happen in your life, you really hit rock bottom. Then people are falling into depression, they have anxiety, they have all of these things because of a false reality that they see on social media.
Oh my God.
So
yes. I think trying to be someone else or do what someone else is doing is the worst thing you could ever do in life. Because you can't do what somebody else do. Mm-hmm. It's going to take you 10 times harder to do and imitate what someone else is blessed with. Right. Your gift is something that you've received. You have a talent that you've received from God. Mm-hmm. And when you learn how to live in your lane of greatness, mm-hmm. and embracing your gift and your talent, nobody else can do what you do. I don't care how many, this is something we discussed about how many people have written books, how many people have done this and do that, but they don't have your story. Right. They don't bring to the table what you have. You have an authenticity about yourself that is going to capture someone's attention. It's going to capture someone's heart and someone's time and someone's mind. Right. And so when you're trying to be someone else or do what somebody else is doing just because it's the thing to do, just because it's trendy, mm-hmm. or just because you think that they have fame and fortune from it, you really don't want that life. Because if you can have a chance to really just talk to them and the person that they really are, they'll tell you it's hard.
Right.
They'll tell you you don't want this because of all the things that they have to do. Sometimes they feel like they are being unethical with themselves and not being themselves because, they want that fame or they want that fortune.
Right.
So I would always say, just stop for a moment. Stop for a moment and just think back and just allow yourself to just think about yourself. What are the things in life that you want? Who do you really want to be? Because I really think that you can become anybody you want to become. It's just all about your mindset. You can do anything in life you want to do. It's all about your mindset. I always tell people, change your mindset, change your life. Because it absolutely works. It worked for me. Right. I had to change my mindset about a lot of things on my journey.
Right.
Because I was depressed. I went through sadness and isolation. I withdrew from people that absolutely loved and adored me, but I didn't give them a chance to understand my journey or understand me. And so by me doing that, it put me into a state where I didn't want to be. So I had to get back to me. I had to get back to saying, okay, I'll let this person know, I'll let that person know. Let me just talk to them and let them know what I'm going through. And when I tell you, when I did that, I felt so much better. I felt that I was able to get back to being Tameka. Right. Back to being the person that I wanted to be in life, which is that bubbly person, always smiling, always having a good thing to say to somebody. When I see someone else down, hey, what's going on? Talk to me, girl, And so that's me. And so I think that when you can just be the authentic person that you are destined to be in life, you're going to do great things in life.
Right. I know that there are so many people who are, depressed right now. They can't seem to come to terms with what's going on in their life. Things just aren't working out for them. What would be your message to that person who truly wants to be successful? They want to get out of their rut and they just want to truly live their best life and not the lie that everyone is portraying. What is it that you would say to them, having gone through that phase of depression in your life, and now you're flourishing, like you have businesses, you have books, you're a speaker, you train leaders, like you're just awesome. And what is it that you would tell them to kind of like take their first step out of being stuck?
The first thing I would say is get out of your own way. Because a lot of times when we're wanting to move forward, the only thing that's really holding us back is ourselves. Whether it's us talking to someone, whether it's us believing someone else over our own belief of ourselves or what we're capable of doing, regardless of what it is, you're in your own way. So I made a post the other day and I said, water cannot sink a ship with no holes. And that means don't allow negativity to come into your life, into your mind. And when you allow negativity in, you're never going to accomplish anything. So the main thing I would say is get out of your own way. And the next, I would say, think about what it is in life that you really want to do. What are you good at? What are you great at?
Right.
Because a lot of times the only thing that keeps us from being great is grabbing that one thing that's good. So we'll go for this easy little piece, then go on that extra 5 little steps to go to the greatness. Don't just let greatness sit there in front of you and not go for it. Why not? God didn't put you here on earth for you to sit here and just be good.
Right.
We don't say God is good. We say God is great.
Right.
Right. But those are the main things that I would say. I would say, first of all, get out of your own way. Get out of your own mind. Let the negativity go. Don't keep allowing others that's not supportive to you into your life. Don't let them come in and say, no, that's not going to work. Well, why don't you do it this way? Why don't you do it that way? No, you have your own ideas.
Right.
And whatever it is that you want to do, you can do that. Find an accountability group. Find a group of people that are doing what you want to do.
Right.
Become a mentee to them.
Right.
Be in their circle. Get in that circle because that's where you're going to be able to reach your greatness. Mm-hmm. So get out of your own way. Sit back, think about the things that you want to do, and surround yourself with others that are doing what you want to do. That's going to be your keys to succeeding in life.
Right. And I can honestly say that I've shared like my dreams, my greatest aspirations with people that you would think that I would think would be in my corner. Uh-huh. And they had so many negative things to say. And I'm just like, girl, bye, boy, bye. Like, I don't need you in my life. And I've really committed to surrounding myself with people who's going to pour into me instead of drain. It's always a take. Like, yes. No, bye, see you later. I wish you the best, but I cannot afford to have you in my circle any longer. Like, that's my mentality moving forward. Exactly. If you can't support me and I support you in the same way, like, by, like, what purpose do you serve in my life? So I'm really glad that you brought that up. Like, you can't, if you're really trying to move beyond, like, your past situation, if you grew up in a hood, me too, like, that's no excuse. Like, you have to like leave, you have to leave. It's not just people that you have to leave behind. You have to leave mindsets behind. You have to leave environments behind, and you have to cultivate a new environment, a new group of friends, the accountability partners that she mentioned. Like, you have to surround yourself. Your environment should pretty much mimic where you're trying to go in life. You can't, like, expect to, you know, reach greater heights, be this great person, be successful, reach purpose, and you're still surrounding yourself with the same people who are doing nothing. Or like, you just can't do it. So I mean, I'm an aspiring author. She's written 2 books. I'm about to be her best friend. That's how it's gonna go. Like,
and I'm here for it. I'm all here for it.
Yes, it's an exchange. Like, be sure to surround yourself with people who are going to pour into you spiritually as well. And then if there's that person on social media that you sometimes can't stand, but you love and glorify their lifestyle, and you truly don't know what's going on behind the scenes, delete them, block them, because you probably don't know them in real life anyway. So
that's the real of it.
Right. So could you tell us about, like, some of the things that you have going for yourself right now? You wear many hats. You're a mommy to 2 beautiful children.
Oh my gosh. That's my most important job. That's my most important job. Because, you know, I talked about my 18-year journey to motherhood. In my second book, Women Inspiring Nations, my chapter is titled 6,372 Days. And if you think about 6,372 days, would you be willing to go through something for that long? Would you be willing to hold on for that long? Would you be willing to say, I'm going to stay strong because I have faith that it's going to happen, and stick in it for 6,372 days? That's how long it took me to get my first positive pregnancy test. From the time my husband and I married and wanted to start our family to the time I got a pregnancy test of positive and my son was born because of that. That's how long it took me. And from this, when I tell you I know how to have, keep, and increase my faith, because that's all I had. That's all I had. It was to a point where I was just like, I don't even know if I should be married. Like, what am I married for? Like, why are we married? Like, you're supposed to start a family.
Wow.
You know, who wants to be married to somebody that can't give them children? That was my whole mindset with my husband. And of course, he was like, girl, sit down, someone, we got this, you know? And I was just like, okay, God, you send him here for me. Thank you. But with that, I have spawned off the Mustard Seed Promise Project. And with that is, I use the platform that I have and I give it to others. I want others to have visibility to share their story. And I want everybody to feel empowered. So what the Mustard Seed Promise Project does, it finds you ways to get on stages. It finds you ways to get on podcasts and radio and in magazine articles. And so that's the platform that has spawned from, one of the platforms that has spawned from me sharing my story of my journey as well as my faith. You have to have faith. And my tagline to Mustard Seed Promise Project is, claim it before you frame it.
Amen. Did y'all hear that?
Claim it before you frame it. And so I love that tagline, and I have to give credit to my girl, Angie Smith. She is one of my biggest supporters. And I say one of them because I have many supporters. Mm-hmm. She's one of my biggest supporters, and I absolutely love her to death. Me and her, we're on the phone every single day talking about something, about a business that we're starting or a business that we have going on. And so I love her for that, because she actually helped me come up with that. Because my whole thing in my entire life has been, see it before you see it, which is what faith is. Seeing the unknown, believing in the unknown, knowing that it's going to happen. Right. And so my tagline for Mustard Seed Promise Project is, claim it before you frame it. So if anybody's interested, if you are a speaker, an author, an entrepreneur, and you're looking for visibility for your brand, for your message, feel free to get online and find Mustard Seed PP, which is Mustard Seed Promise Project, and send me a message, and I'll get back with you and let you know ways that you can get visibility for your branding, for your message. Another thing that has come from this, because of my son, he is such an old soul. His name is Aspen. I call him Aspen B, which is his middle initial. And he is such an old soul. he loves his bow ties. He loves his little hats and his fedoras and paperboy hats, and he loves his little suspenders. Like, he is such an old soul. And so with that, I have, with him, started a boys accessory line. Okay. Which will include hats and bow ties and suspenders and handkerchiefs and belts and things of that for little boys to make them look like little men.
Okay.
With that as well, I train leaders as I am a paralegal by profession.
Okay.
And so I love doing what I do. I have been a paralegal for a little over 13 years now, and so I train other paralegals and I give them workshops to come into their leadership. And teach them how to have a career brand that speaks for itself and speak before you even walk in the room.
So now you're unlocking other folks' purpose.
Yes. And so yes, I am a woman of many hats, but my most important hat that I wear is mommy, and I absolutely love it. The long nights and no sleep, early mornings, I love it all.
Wow. Now, thinking about like everything that you have going for yourself, how great God turned things around and He allowed you to go through those dark seasons of your life. Would you trade it?
Absolutely not. Like, you don't even understand how I wake up every single morning with a smile on my face. And I could have just gotten 2 hours of sleep the night before, but I'm still going to wake up with a smile on my face because I could see my babies.
Wow.
That's how real it is for me. Like, I was telling my accountability group, the question was, what are you enthusiastic about? And I was just like, I'm enthusiastic about everything in life. The fact that I get to wake up every single day and see my babies smile and hear their laughter and loudness. My son loves to sing. Can't understand a word he's saying, but he loves to sing. I love to hear it every single day. I'm enthusiastic about life itself because I was on my deathbed for 3 times. Wow. But I'm here. It wasn't my time. It wasn't time for me to go. I was here for a purpose. And I know that I have found my purpose in life, to share my journey and to allow others to share their journeys with me, empowering others while they empower me, you know?
Right. It's an exchange.
Yes, it is an exchange. So I'm enthusiastic about life. I'm enthusiastic about everything in life. I wouldn't change a thing. I mean, the journey was hard. The journey was rough. I think looking back on it now, I would have better tools to work with. I would not keep myself isolated from others. I would seek out the support. I would allow those that love me in a whole lot more than I did.
Right.
A whole lot sooner than I did. And so I wouldn't change a thing now. I wouldn't change one single thing because the result of me having these 2 beautiful children, Aspen and Arden, I absolutely love them to death. And if they would have come earlier, it wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be how it is right now. It wouldn't be the same.
And I love that you said that because so many people pray for things and they keep asking God, you know, why haven't you given me this? Why haven't you given me that? And we fail to realize that God, He sees our beginning and He sees our end. Like,
Amen.
He's outside of time. So He knows, yes, He wants to do great things in our lives, but sometimes if He gives us these big blessings, we wouldn't know what to do with them. So sometimes He's more concerned with the process than just giving something, when it's not the right time. So what would you say to that person, anyone who's listening, that, you know, they've been praying and they've been praying and they've been praying. Maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 10 years, maybe it's 2 months, but it's something that they're really after, but their prayers aren't really getting answered. What would you say to them while they're waiting?
What I would say, because that was me. You have to stop. Don't cry about it. You know, I say give yourself 60 seconds and pick yourself back up.
Right.
Because you sitting and you wallowing in it is not going to be good for you. It's not going to be good for your process. It's not going to be good for your healing. There's something that you need to learn.
Right.
There's something in life that you need to learn, something that you need to go through. And I always say God puts us through tests. And a lot of times the test is not for us. It's for somebody else that's connected to us to learn something. Mm-hmm. So we're going through tests. We're going to go through tribulations and trials. And we're going to have to come through it. We're going to have to show that we can keep the faith regardless of what we're going through. But I would say, stop what you're doing. Stop putting yourself down into the deep depression. Find somebody to talk to.
Right.
Don't sit in it by yourself. Find your support group. If you can't be your family, find a friend. And a lot of times we get support from people that are complete strangers to us before we get support from our family.
Listen, let me amen that. Like that is so true. Like, listen, strangers will support you before your own family, friends. all of that. Like, that is very true. That is very true.
So find you a support group. If you need to find someone, go online. There's a support group for everything under the sun. Mm-hmm. And if they can't be local to you, I'm sure they have somewhere to do a Zoom call where you can still see them and feel connected in some kind of way, or talk to somebody. Find a good church. Mm-hmm. Talk to the pastor and let them pray over you. Go to church religiously if that's one thing. If that's something that you do. I'm not saying you got to go to church to have things in life, but I'm saying you have to have faith, that you have to believe that whatever it is that you're wanting, it will come. It's just not in your time. God is not on our time. Nothing ever happens on our time. He's in his own timing. And so if you don't have the faith to hold on, if you can't hold on to just the little bit of faith that you should have, what are you doing? Why do you want him to bless? Why are you wanting him to bless what? What is he blessing? He's blessing you that you gave up? No, he blesses you when you keep the faith, and you can show others how to keep that faith and increase your faith while going through it, because he's using you as an instrument for somebody.
Right.
You know, he's using you as a test to show others, keep your faith. This is what keeping faith looks like.
Right.
You know, so that's what I would say. I would say keep your faith. I would say find somebody to talk to. Don't sit in it for too long. Don't let yourself wallow in it, because it will take you into deep down depression, somewhere you don't want to be. And if you're there, find somebody to talk to.
Yes, and anyone who's listening or will ever listen, like, you can, I'm very visible on social media, and I'm sure Tamika's always available as well. Yes. But don't ever think that you're alone. Like, if it's something that you just have to let out, you don't know, like, who to talk to about it. Like, you never know, like, other people's process in their past. Like, I could have, or Tamika could have very well gone through something very similar to what you're going through. Like, trust me, I have stories for days. Like, we can talk all night about that. But I do want people to understand that all the glory you see in my life, her life, don't be fooled, because we both have a story.
Yes, we have a story. Stories you probably wouldn't even think we have.
Yeah. So don't ever feel like you have to do life alone. Like, there are support groups all around the world. There are so many online platforms for people who have gone through what you're going through. Like, don't ever feel like, oh, like, life's just out to get me. I'm the only one who's experiencing this or enduring this. Like, no one is perfect. We all have a past. We all have our own stories. And deep down inside, like, despite what social media, the news, all of that, the negative things they have to say, there are a lot of genuine people in this world. There are people who want to see you flourish. There are people who want the best for you. There are people who want to see you successful. So don't be fooled and dismayed by all the negativity that you're seeing. Honestly, shut it off. I stopped watching the news. Like, most of the time, yes, like, I'm tired of it. Like, most of the time, I don't even like scrolling through social media anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see y'all fighting. I don't want to see y'all arguing back and forth about your political views. Like, stop. just stop. Like, there's so much positivity in the world that you can spend your time searching for, instead of looking at someone else's false reality.
It's called the Yellow Room. That's where your positivity is. The Yellow Room with Nika Hansen.
Yes. If you need some more positivity in your life, go ahead and play back those episodes. Yes. But let's talk about a little more about your books, more specifically, because I know I'm excited to dive into your books. Again, this was your first book, right? The one you wrote yourself. She wrote this book in 30 days. She had been planning to write a book for a while, but again, like myself, talking herself out of it. Yes. She surrounded herself with great people who held her accountable on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, and she was able to self-publish her very first book in 30 days. Listen, I was over here talking about, like, writing a book, and I'm thinking, oh, I'll start on it this year. Like, it'll get published maybe next year, the following year. No, this lady wrote her book and published it in 30 days. So can you tell us about that process?
Yes. Well, a lot of times, as we've said, in life, we don't really want to share what our authentic truth, coming from the background is. Mm-hmm. But in order to be authentic and help others, you have to be willing to open yourself up and share yourself. And for the longest, I'm not going to sit here and allow myself to be judged, because I was actually a judgmental person. Going through my 18 years, I judged every woman under the sun that had a child. Like, I can be a better mother than she can. Why she won't put her baby some clothes on? Like, I'm just being so serious right now. That was me, and I had to ask God for forgiveness for that, because that's not the way we should be.
Right.
But I became so judgmental because they had what I wanted so bad. You know, I wanted it so badly. But for writing this book, I had to be okay with being transparent. I had to be okay with being just Tameka and just putting the raw out there.
Right.
And the guy that actually supported me in writing my book and bringing me out of my comfort zone, his name is Kenny Jones. He's online at KJ Speaks on Instagram. But I'm a comeback kid. # comeback kid.
Okay.
And so he actually has a program, and I entered his program. And in that program, he kept me on target every single week. Say, okay, get this done. Okay, get that done. How those chapters come along? Okay, week 3, come on, let's move it on. You know, he made me get my covers done. I got everything done, and because I wanted to do it, I actually got to the point of what's more important, me helping the next woman or me thinking that I don't want to be judged. What was more important is to help the next woman and the man that may read my book and say, you know, hey, she kept her faith through all of this, through everything that I went through. She kept her faith. Why can't I? You know, and so that's how that book came about. And yes, it was done in 30 days. I started that book the first week of December. Actually, it was like midweek of the first week of December, and by December 31st, the book was done, and I published it in January.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So you went from 6,000, how many days was it? The waiting.
6,372 days of trying to get this child. And then when he was 7, going on 8 months, is when I did that book.
Wow. So you had your waiting period.
Yeah.
That dark period of your life. You were a comeback kid.
Yes.
You came out of the darkness, and you were able to do something so significant in such a short time. That's the word.
But let me add this cherry on top, Nika. Let me add this cherry on top. So while I was writing this book, I was pouring so much of myself into this book. Like everything that I wanted people to know every little thing. And so writing this book and remembering all the things that I went through. I mean, each chapter in his book, each chapter is titled for a reason. The reason, the way that I have it titled. 2 months after I wrote this book, I found out that I was expecting my second child.
Wow.
Yes. And so writing this book, actually, it made me increase my faith even more, because I was reading my own story. I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I actually went through all of that. Like, think about 18 years of stuff, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I went through 18 years of that. Oh my goodness. And so it just made me say, you know, God, thank you for bringing me out of it. Thank you for bringing me through it. And just believing in it. And I got back to reading my Bible. Every single day I was reading something from the Bible, and I would post it to social media because somebody needs this shit. Somebody needs this, you know. And so, yes, I found out that I was 2 months pregnant and didn't know that I was expecting my second child. I didn't know that I was expecting him. I was 2 months along before I found out I was expecting my first child. And so the same thing happened, a total surprise.
And how symbolic. Like you wrote out your past.
Yes.
And then you started to read your book.
Yes.
And you too were affected by it.
Yes.
Like that's
yes,
so
indeed.
Listen,
my children are 16 months apart. Yes.
Wow. Listen, if that doesn't make you convince you that God is real, I don't know what else can. Like that is amazing.
Yes. But yes, that book came about in 30 days, and that's one of my greatest accomplishments. And I've gotten so much great feedback from others that have been blessed by reading this. They're like, oh my gosh, like one lady in particular, she actually messaged me and she says, you don't even know where I was. She says, I was on the verge of committing suicide. That was deep. Wow. Like, I didn't expect that. And I say that because I know where she, I don't want to even get emotional, but I know where she was because I've been there. And depression, when I tell you, when depression sets in, it sets in and it will take you to places you wouldn't even think about going. But when she messaged me back and she said that's where she was, I was so happy because she used the word was. That meant she was no longer there. That meant something in my book touched her. And I was thanking God for it every single. And I still think I was just like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe it touched people like that. I didn't have a platform. You know, and I still don't have the major platform that a lot of people out here that's doing it big has. Mm-hmm. But the little platform that I did have, and for it to touch that lady the way that it did, like, I'm just grateful for anything that I do. And I know that my purpose to be here on earth is to help others and to show them through my actions and show them through the way that I live and show them the way that I talk and the way I interact with others, that this is the way you're supposed to do it. It works.
Right.
Yes.
Wow. So, listen, that's great. I'm speechless. That's great. Because I too I came to terms with myself. I had to face myself, because this week, actually, someone reached out to me on social media and pretty much poured out, like, she sent me this very, very nice long message about, like, how she's so happy that, you know, what she's seeing that I'm doing and all of this stuff. And, like, my daily prayer is that God would align me with the right people. Yes. And for me not to get so caught up in the numbers, like, about how many people are following me, how many people are downloading my podcast, mm-hmm. how many people are doing this, how many people are doing that. But if I could just impact and influence it, change one person's life, like,
that's all that matters.
I'm good.
Yes.
I realize that I can't be everything to everyone, but I can be that to someone. And I can change one person's life. And my greatest aspiration in life is to inspire others to be their very best. So when people give you that confirmation, it does something to you. Like, I literally ran off and cried. Like I'm about to do now.
It brings it back, especially when you're authentic about it and when you are just being you, mm-hmm. and you know that whatever you're pouring in is the truth. Mm-hmm. You're going to always get emotional about it. It's going to be always a point where it's going to bring you to almost tears, if not tears. Like, yes, I'm very serious about empowering others to have, keep, and increase your faith. I'm very serious about that because I know that it works. I am living testimony that it works.
Right.
Like, I'm living testimony because I'm living.
Right. Because you could have very well taken your own life during your dark time. Like, those thoughts were on the table, but you're here.
Yes.
You're here.
And on purpose.
Okay, one is enough. I see you.
Yes.
So, I know that this can be applied in our personal life, but a lot of times people in the corporate world, they feel like they're stuck. Like, okay, like, when is my promotion? Everyone around me is getting...
my God.
Everyone around me is getting promoted. Like, why am I getting left behind? I know that there's so many people who feel that way. What would you tell them, like, while they're waiting?
I'm going to tell them to go pick up this book. It's called Women Inspiring Nations Volume 2. I am a co-author in this book. And in this book, there are 23 struggle to success stories. And I'm glad you brought that up because there's a chapter in here. Actually, one of my co-authors, her name is Dr. Karen Hills Pruden, and her title is From on the Menu to Seated at the Table. And what it's about is what her story is in the corporate world, how she felt held back because the people that were in charge would not promote her, even though she was the most senior person. They wanted to hire in all the millennials, and she wasn't a millennial. And so in her story, she tells you how she was able to go from feeling like she was stuck to now being at the top of the charts. Yes. Wow. There's a story in this book for every woman in the nation. We are impacting nations with this book. Women Inspiring Nations Volume 2. Now, it's not available on Amazon. If you are interested in getting the book, get with Nika. She'll reach out to me, and I will definitely get you a book in the mail. But it's a very powerful book. Like, I met so many other co-authors because we're from all over the world. Mm-hmm. Like, I would say the U.S. right now, but there's ladies from California, Texas, South Carolina, Mississippi, myself, a lot of us from Maryland, so we're everywhere all over the U.S. that we've come together and written this book. I met so many of them at the book launch that we had in January. And the energy in the room was it was just amazing. It was absolutely amazing to hear women's story, to hear them share what their story is about. It's absolutely amazing. So if you are feeling stuck in some kind of way in life, it could be work. It could be, medical. It could be wanting to start a family. It could be stuck in your marriage. It could be whatever the case may be. This is the book that you need to read because there's a story in here that's going to inspire you to come up out of it and show you how to come up out of it.
Amen. Now, how did you meet these women?
Oh my gosh. So the visionary behind the Women Inspire Nations, her name is Cheryl Wood. She is actually a speaker coach. She's a domination of her own. Like, she's just on fire. I love this woman. She actually brought us all together. She did the first volume. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering a lot because I'm just so passionate about it. But she did the first volume with 25 women, and she did the second volume with 23 of us. And she gives us a platform to share our stories to empower others. And she is the truth. She is authentic. Wow. She is the woman. If you're interested in elevating your business in any kind of way, she is the woman that you need to go to. Wow. Seriously, she is the truth. I don't say that about too many people because, as you said, there's so many fake people out here on the internet. You don't know who you're coming in contact with. Everybody wants your money for this. Everybody wants your money for that. But I tell you the truth. She is the real deal. She is the real deal. I promise you.
Wow. Now, are you all in some type of accountability group now?
We are. Actually, she just started one in December. In December, she started an accountability group, and it's the Impact Nation. #ImpactNation. Yes, we are about 115 people in there right now, men and women. Wow. And we actually hold each other accountable. One of our first assignments was to reach out to at least 3 people in the group and see what you have in common. And when I tell you, I think I've reached out to probably about 6 or 7 of them so far, and still connecting with others, so everybody has something in common along the way. And so it's an awesome group because you put in there what it is that you're working on, they're going to hold you to it.
Amen. I love that. Like,
you can't just put it out there and not do it.
We need to start an accountability group. Like, if you are interested, listen, I will bug you. I'm worse than I will text you all throughout the day. Like, if you would be interested in me starting an accountability group and you would be involved and engaged, let me know, because that's something that I'm big on. Like, me even starting this podcast came from my great supportive small group from Life Point. Like, hey y'all, but thank you all for holding me accountable and always pouring life into me. That is so important. If you're truly trying to find your purpose and do the work that you've been called to do, you need to find accountable people. Like, again, bump those people who always have something negative to say, who want to keep you comfortable. The reason why they're so negative is because they realize that y'all started at the same place, but they see that you're growing outside of yourself, and that makes them feel some type of way. They're uncomfortable. Leave them behind. But anyway, yes, if you are truly interested, I don't care where you are, like, this can be a virtual thing. I don't care the location. We can do this because I truly want you to live your best life and stop living your best lie. And I want to empower you. I want to empower you to go after every single thing that you want in this life because you deserve it and you can have it all. So we're going to wrap things up here today. But if you want to hear more about Tameka's story, because again, she's a woman of many hats. She has so many things going on. It's so many things that she probably didn't touch on today. She's all over social media. And so if you want to share your social media information, IG, I was about to say IG, Instagram, same thing. IG, Facebook, Twitter, any of that. And then all this week and the weeks to come, I'll be sharing her book information where you can purchase. Her first book is found online at Amazon, but the other, I'll be more than happy to share the link with you all. But yes, if you can share your contact information and remember, #ImpactNation.
Yes, #ImpactNation, #ComebackKid.
Yes.
So you can find me on Instagram at Tameka Empowers, and you can also find me on Facebook at Tameka Empowers as well. Tamika Walker Chapman is my name that's on Facebook. My website, www.tamekaempowers.com.
Okay. Well, thank you all so much for joining in today.
Thank you.
Again, it was a pleasure to have you on the show today. I'm so excited. Like, we have a lot of things cooking up our sleeve. I just shared some stuff with her that I wanted to do locally. So FYI, a conference is coming soon. So you better be there.
Yeah.
I'm just letting it out into the universe. But again, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm sure this is definitely not the last time that we'll collab. And
not.
I speak many blessings, so much favor, all of that, everything, your will and God's will to be aligned. I just pray that everything that you want in life comes to you in full circle, because you deserve it.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. And I can only imagine the amount of people who would be impacted by it, whether you have a similar story to Tamika's or you're just going through something, that no one knows about at the moment. I just pray that you would come forth, you would speak up, you wouldn't isolate yourself, and that you would take that first step in getting out of that rut and truly finding your purpose. And don't forget to share your story. Like, yes, you went through that tough time, but if you share it with just one person, you never know what that can provoke in their life.
Exactly.
So please don't be quiet. Talk. Spread the news. But again, thank you all so much for joining in for the Yellow Rooms podcast. Be blessed, and I will see you all soon.